All right, so I thought of a way to put things very simply. By controlling change, they control the world. You can't just sit there and tell people what to do, because eventually someone's not going to like it, and they're going to, fight against you. So the only way to truly control mankind and the future of man is to control change. And it is a lot easier for them to do than people think. The best way to do it is to make people think that the ideas that they've come up with are their own. You trick people into being gay, for instance, and then they become a hardcore gay rights activist, and they believe that naturally they are gay, that genetically they're gay, and that as a result, it's in their best interest and it's their own idea to be a gay activist. So now they're thoroughly convicted. And and then, obviously there's lots of these people, right? The same thing with a feminist. You feed in on their complexes, on the things that they're upset about, and you make them bigger, and you convince them that, hey, this is what you should do about it. And so they team up with other groups of people. And by the end of the day, you have people are divided into these different camps. So when it's time for someone like me to make a true change, who's he reaching out to? People that the New World Order have thoroughly brainwashed. I could talk to a gay person, for example, all day about how he's wrong, how homosexuality is evil, how, it's not natural, and that there's a chance that he could snap out of it. That most people, it's very rare to see someone who's truly influenced heavily by genetics instead of by the environment and psychology. And that there's a chance that they can snap out of it. I could talk to them all day about it. Am I going to get anywhere? Probably not. Almost certainly not. I could talk to feminists for months about it, Am I going to get anywhere with them? Almost certainly not. So when it's time to bring down the New World Order, what happens? They're controlling the change. They're controlling people's ideas and the movements that they have and so on. So what am I going to do? Team up with a gay, a feminist, a racist Republican to take on the New World Order, which consists of all these things? And then what? Am I supposed to be, tell them honestly, well, the reason why I'm going to take, now that I got all you people who believe what the New World Order believes together, I want you to help me take on the New World Order so you can take out the people who see things the same way as you in favor for a change that is beneficial to, what God expects. It's almost certainly not going to happen. Because even the religious people fall into some of these camps. You have gay Christians. You even have gay Muslims. You have feminist Christians. You even have feminist Muslims. You have Christian Republicans. You have Muslim Republicans. So at the end of the day, when all is said and done, and it's time, when all people's points of view are, set in place, and it's time to organize to take on the New World Order, what becomes of the true movement for God? It is pretty hopeless. It is a dire situation. And as a matter of principle, you can't give up. But make no mistake, to pretend that the system is your friend, to pretend these people from the different political movements are magically on your side, is insane. It is absolute madness. The New World Order has thoroughly shown you, historically, that their enemies are Christians and Muslims. They have proven that beyond any doubt. When the Jews were in power, they persecuted Christians. When Hitler was in power, he persecuted Christians. Secret societies who have made it clear to you that Christians and Muslims are their enemies. Now, at some points, they persecuted gays. At some points, they persecuted Jews. But this was really just a result of divide and conquer. People have been divided into camps who don't like this and they don't like this and they don't like this, right? But when all is said and done, evil is evil. When somebody who's evil has been persecuted by somebody else who is evil, for you to say, well, I should put my differences aside and team up with this evil to take on that evil. What's going to end up happening is you're going to side with a whole bunch of evil people who far outnumber the good people, and you're going to replace evil with another form of evil because majority tends to rule. It's what it is. It's what it is. First, you need to identify the enemy. Then you need to eradicate them with a merciless calculation. Your calculations have to include a sentiment of no mercy, a ruthless, calculated, surgical series of strikes to eradicate evil. That is the only solution. Everything else involves waiting for God to end the world, for Judgment Day to come, for Jesus to come back, etc., etc. Everything else that is a logical conclusion or solution. Yeah, if Jesus comes back, what I believe is going to come, from a scientific point of view, if Jesus comes back, I believe Jesus will come back. But we'll just say it from my point of view to keep it simple. When Jesus comes back, that's a solution. But how many people are going to suffer? How many people will be led astray? How many people will be raped, sex trafficked, murdered, and drugged, and dumbed down, and given diseases, and so on and so forth? Is it the moral thing to do to wait for Jesus to come back to challenge evil? The Bible says to follow the laws of the land, except when they contradict the laws of God, and to love one another and to bring them to God is the most important commandment of all. To love someone enough to bring them to God, to sacrifice your life to bring them to God. That is the most important commandment of all. You cannot truly say you love humanity if you will not put your neck on the line to deliver them from evil. If you turn a blind eye to their suffering, is that love? Would you turn a blind eye to somebody raping your wife? And why wouldn't you? Because you love her, right? Then why do you claim to love one another and you turn the blind eye to the mass rapes, murders, drug dealing, sex trafficking, extortion, satanic propaganda?